Good morning. Welcome to morning practice. My name is Olivia. Thank you for joining me, my friends, my beautiful humans. You're not mine, but it's lovely to share this Wednesday morning with you. Been feeling those energies, eh? If any of you did catch yesterday's video, you probably have noticed I had a different sort of tone, and it was a challenging morning for me. I had lost some things at my house right before practice, and then I had also lost some things the day before. And it's interesting because the day really did continue very much even after practice to pick up a bunch of stuff for me. And I really had to take time to sit down with myself internally and really talk about it. Like, this is really coming up for you today. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about why you're afraid of it, why it's so painful, why you are being so triggered by it at the moment. And that was actually really useful because it gave that part of myself the awareness that I was listening to it, that I wasn't just saying, oh no, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm not going to participate in that. That's not important, or I just suppress it for later, and I actually, because I spent time with that part of myself and really talked deeply with it, I feel like I really moved something beautiful. And it's interesting, isn't it? Today I feel so full of love. I could just burst. It's such a different feeling in 24 hours. And how do we do that? Because I can see that the light is. I've got the beam of light today. Anyway, it's fascinating. We are moving towards this eclipse next week. I have so much around this eclipse for personal reasons and for collective reasons. And it's just like, wow. And there's so much to talk about in terms of how we can approach this, especially through this morning practice vehicle, to address these energies and work with them, which is why I bring them up. I'm not simply sitting here telling you about them to share, but because we're working with these energies in morning practice. The last 2 weeks, we talked about how we construct a false sense of self in order to hide our unconscious or more unconscious behavior patterning. And that sort of a little bit was what was happening with me yesterday. Like it was revealing itself to me, and yet I wasn't fully engaging with it. And by engaging with it, I could deconstruct this sort of sense of self that I had built around this particular issue and actually see it in a better way, in a more authentic way, in a more truthful way, in a way that was more aligned for me. So I bring these energies into our morning practice so that we can create awareness around them. And so, as we move towards the eclipse, there's just so much. We talked about slowing down because there's a lot of Mercury energy, especially slowing down in communication, slowing down. There's so much energy around being truthful about what you say and not being afraid to speak your truth, but also just taking a moment to know that when you speak your truth, you're not actually participating in aggression or feeding violence or feeding war energy, but actually feeding justice, feeding the honoring of all beings everywhere. Are your words honoring everybody in the situation, not just one point of view? We're trying to step away from polarization. And in that energy is really addressing so much of our own wounding, right? You know, our wounded sense of self, which we all have. Everybody has some sort of wounding in their sense of self. And that is why we construct these false senses of self to sort of not hide, but sort of allow for these wounds to persist. And as they persist, we only not only do we internalize them, but we project them. And this is such an important moment to recognize that, and not recognize that in judgment, but recognize that in compassion, not just for ourselves, but for others. And then allow ourselves to move with intention, with our focus. Where do you want to expand in your consciousness? How do you want to bring more love and authenticity to your practice? What it is that you here are specifically here to do, and how do you expand that? And it's really like, because the eclipses are so powerful energetically, you have an opportunity to make a quantum leap. And so we bring all this into our consciousness to weave it towards, you know, this amazing quantum leap that we can all take personally and collectively. So let's just think about how your path has led you to who you are in this moment, unconscious patterning and all. And as we drop into today's practice in meditation and breath and movement, really noticing, you know, the reason that we talk about notice what's coming up for you in this posture, notice how you're feeling, notice how the heart is feeling. It allows you to create awareness around your own internal sense of self. And that awareness is the ground, the soil, the fire in which we create our personal transformation. And one other thing I will say about the energies of the eclipse is there is also some energy in there for some serious spiritual discipline. So if you're looking to begin a spiritual discipline, this is just one form. Find a form that works for you. Find a form that's aligned to you authentically. Work with an energy healer. Work with something that you're drawn to. And if you're curious about these things, but don't really have any references or contacts, feel free to contact me. I have references for energy healers, astrologers, you name it. And it's a personal journey. It's, you know, we're all in this together. Each of us are contributing to this great transformation. It's why we're here in this moment. And I just want to honor, like, you know, yesterday I wasn't in the best frame of mind, and I really put out that I was considering, and I am considering maybe rounding off the public practice by the end of the month. We'll see. But I did actually get a comment from one of you. Thank you, yesterday, encouraging me in the work that I'm doing, and that is wonderful. So thank you for that, and know that it is this sort of sense of community as well, that that we're supporting each other in how we're moving forward with the energies of transformation, with the energies of creating more awareness around our unconscious patterning. I had an incredible evening connecting with people in my community, and just, you know, witnessing for each other the beauty in each other and the journey that we're all taking together, whether that's, you know, as part of your spiritual practice, as part of your professional life, as part of your personal life. We're here for each other, and connecting in a daily way to your internal state And cultivating that deeper relationship with yourself allows you to be expansive and more compassionate for those around you, and really hold their truth and your truth at the same time without them having to be the same, which is really critical at this moment in the human history. So let's connect to our hearts. Finding a seat today, feeling, and if you're not feeling, and I invite you to take some of my energy, feeling the love of being alive. So we'll let our eyes come to close, resting on the sit bones, bringing the awareness into the body. And you might feel like this warmth spread through the seat, up through the torso, a warmth around the heart space. And I almost think that warmth, that life force is almost like our blood or our nervous system, this sort of network of infinitesimally tiny strands of energy that move through us, circulating our life, but also circulating this awareness of love, the awareness of a higher frequency inside of us that we all have capacity to inhabit. So allow yourself to really drop in to the awareness of the life force circulating around. If the mind is busy, if the mind is noisy, simply bow toward that and thank you, mind. And you're just going to step away for a moment and inhabit the physical space of life force, of love. And as we find the seat and a tall spine, as if our spine were reaching up toward the sun, you can find a position of reverence for your heart space that suits you. And just allow yourself to feel into the heart. You may feel the magnetic field of beauty between your hands and your heart. You may just be aware of the beautiful light pulsating from the center of your being. Your heart emits photons. Your heart is powerful. The power of your heart is the heart of your power. And we can take joy in that. Letting your awareness focus on that light inside of your heart that is such a beautiful luminescence growing inside of you. And while it may be difficult to access the feeling of being so full of love that you could burst, imagine that heart light growing and filling you. That light you know inside of you, growing. It's almost pushing up against your skin from the inside, spilling beyond your perimeter into your auric field, illuminating each chakra center so that your auric field is a dazzling, shimmering rainbow luminescence, multicolored, emanating from your center being, from your heart. And your rainbow luminescence spilling out beyond you, beyond your auric field, beyond the space you're sitting in, out, all across the planet, And each of us, each one of us, emanating this brilliant rainbow heart light, and our heart lights connect. And as they connect, they multiply, they magnify. My heart light connects to your heart light, and boom, it's a deeper brilliance, it's a greater light. And as we place our focus and intention, sending our heart light out across the planet, connecting to each other, we create a world of rainbow light covering the entire surface, bringing love, bringing healing to any person, situation, place that it meets. We'll take a few more moments in silence here. Allow your breath to deepen. Really expanding the chest, filling the belly, and exhaling. And let's take another deep breath inside out. Inhaling. Ah. And let's inhale to Om together, inhaling. You can let your hands fall into your lap and your eyes slowly open. Let's do a little breath work. Let's just do a 4-count breath. So 4-count inhale, 4-count hold, and a 4-count exhale, and a 4-count hold. And be really interested in the spaces between the breath. So, and if it's uncomfortable at all to hold the space between the breath that long, just shorten it to 2 counts and be on your own timing. But I'll count us through the 4-count even. So inhaling, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, hold, exhaling, hold, inhaling, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhaling, hold. Continue to take another 3 rounds on your own. And just allow yourself to really feel the spaces between. And as you inhale and exhale, really feel how the breath begins to inhabit the body, reaching into the arches of the feet, the palms of the hands, the back of the neck. Allow the breath to travel. As you let the 4-count box breath go, just bringing into awareness that, we talked a lot yesterday and Monday about slowing down and stopping. The breath work, that really intentional, long inhale, the holding, the long exhale, that will allow you to access that slowing down energy. And it also sends a really strong signal to your nervous system that you have slowed down. So anything that might be heightened in the body and the nervous system can be calmed. And as we move through a lot of what these energies are, which are disruptive, which will bring unexpected events, which will bring sort of some fire, access your breath work. Access the intentional breath, access the internal space. These are great tools for having a calmer, more even and aligned relationship with what's happening outside of you. Let's go over to the mat. Blocks are useful for practice if you have them. Blankets for under the knees if that feels good to you to support. And just tossed my scarf off and it landed on top of the clock. Obviously, a sign that I'm not to pay too much attention to time or not to worry about time too much, but I do worry about time a little bit in our practice. So let's begin actually with, we're going to sit on our mat with our feet wide open like this. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm wondering if I should try and adjust the angle for that light, because it is kind of like a beam of light that brightens. Yeah, I don't think it's going to change by the angle. Let's see. It's interesting how some days it's there and some days it's not. Let me see if I can adjust the brilliance of the light. Perhaps that will change it. No, it just seems determined to be there. Okay, well, we're in a beam of light today. It's like ascension. Okay, I wonder why. Why today and not another day? Let's see if I can adjust this. And see if that changes it. Nope. All right, well, we're gonna work with our beam of light. Again, I mean, if the worst disruption that happens today is a beam of light shining down on you, then who knows? But let's have our legs wide here. Allow the bowl of the pelvis just spill forward, and just using your hands, just let your pelvis roll back and forward here. And let's just take some lovely rolls to the left, allowing the torso to move to the left. And really feeling as we take these rolls, bring your awareness to the base of your hamstrings and let them really engage with the floor. A really nice way of just gently stretching the legs. And you can place your hands on your thighs here, taking rolls to the right. It's so funny. You've got this beam of light. It's extraordinary. You can't control circumstances. And what I want us to do is move our arms. We're going to bring a little bit of just sensuous dancerly movement into our rolling. Really allow it to be intuitive. Feel the range of motion of your shoulders, if stretching them in this kind of more fluid, more intuitive way, rather than very specific and directed, might just reach parts of the joints, part of the muscles that just, it's almost like the movement, as opposed to like the static pose, brings a greater sense of ease. And so as we allow things to move through our body, we allow for a greater sense of ease. And then bringing our arms up and reaching the chest up and really engaging into your feet here, feeling that stretch, and then bringing the hands down and just taking a few neck rolls to the right and a few neck rolls to the left. Ah, oh, that's really good, right? And we'll bring our hands underneath our knees, bringing the knees in. And let's, yeah, if you want to sit up on a block or just stay seated in Baddha Konasana, or not Baddha Konasana, just cross-legged, in a comfortable seat. Definitely make sure you're comfortable. And then we'll inhale the arms overhead. We'll grasp at the beam of light above us and bring the light down to our heart center. And really, just with total joy, offer love and gratitude for this body, this being, this physical vessel, this instrument of consciousness, what it is to be a human being amongst other human beings, to make love, to hug a dear friend, to hold each other, to dance, to swim, to let your body go crazy, to be so expressive in your physical self. What joy, right? Thank you for this body. Thank you for this being. And inhaling, we'll bring our arms up, grasping the beam of light, bringing it down to the heart. So much love and gratitude for every single person on the planet. There are many people in our lives. I know that we don't know whose work, whose consciousness contribute to the quality of our life, to what we do each day. And there are people that we know, our community, people that we see, maybe we don't see every day or every week even, but we connect with from time to time, and we witness each other, we witness each other's journeys, we witness each other's struggles, and we witness each other's extraordinary, unique beauty. And that is a great gift, and I am so grateful, and offering gratitude and inviting you to share your offering of gratitude for the people in your life that are meaningful and lovely, who are there, who are interesting, who are mysterious. All those people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And inhaling, our arms come overhead, hands come to prayer in a beam of light. And we bring that beam of light down to the heart center. And just offering genuine devotion and gratitude to this planet, this earth, the ultimate instrument of consciousness upon which we live, we inhabit. Full of the energies that keep us alive, full of the beauty that fills us with awe, full of the places that we travel to and admire. Every part of this planet, every tree, every blade of grass. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we'll inhale, our arms come up, and we're just going to twist to the left here, bringing your left arm behind you, your right hand comes to your left knee, really pressing the fingertips into the ground behind you. And you can just turn the chin down towards the chest, not tuck it so much, but really what we're trying to do is feel the length along the back of the neck. Feel the expanse from the shoulder girdle, the shoulder collarbones broadening. And inhaling, bringing the arms overhead, twisting to the right. Right fingertips will be on the ground behind you. Left hand to the right knee. Really allowing the chin to curl in here. Feeling what feels most conducive to the expansion internally. And we'll come back to center and remove the block, or if anything, if you're sitting on anything, and we'll place them at the top of the mat. And we'll come to a tabletop and just lifting the hips, lifting the chest. That feels really good to me. And then curling in. Oh, that feels really good too, in a completely different way. So let's do it again. Lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest. And you might want to wag your tail here, back and forth. Just let your hips wag back and forth. Oh. And then curling in, wagging the tail again. And as you wag your tail as you're in cat, you know, rounding the spine upward, really press into the hands as if you could expand that space between the shoulder blades. And then we'll just continue to take these flexions and extensions, but just add again, just fluid movement, fluid, intuitive movement that feels really nice for you. You may want to bring your hips back into a bit of a hip roll. Just do anything that addresses any part of the body that might need to get stretched. And then take that the other way. Oh, yeah. And then we'll come down to a puppy dog pose. So you can bring your knees back, but keep the hips up over the knees, reaching the arms out in front of you. And you're going to bring the head down to the mat. You can, let's just say I'm going to keep the forehead on the mat and give some active engagement to your hands. You can tent up onto the fingertips if you want, or just press the hands into the mat. Just feeling that activation, drawing in the floating ribs, drawing in the belly. And almost like you're pressing those sit bones up more as you draw in the ribs, as you draw in the belly. Whoa. Just press up. I'm totally pressing. So I've bent my left elbow and I'm reaching into my right hand. And this is just giving me a bit of a stretch on one side. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to bend into my right elbow and press into a long, straight left arm. The way of stretching here. And then we'll curl up onto the knees. And then you're going to place your fingertips either side of your hips and just lift the chest here, lifting the heart center. And then we'll just curl in, exhale, and curl in. We're not going to curl all the way down, just curl as if you were cat-cowing, but on your knees. Lifting the chest as you inhale, curling in as you exhale. I'm going to face you for this part so that you can see better what I'm doing. We'll reach our arms wide to the T, keeping on our knees, and we're going to bring our left arm underneath our right arm and hold hug. Now, if you want to take eagle arms, bringing the hands together and the forearms up, you can take that, but it's perfectly fine to just hold on to the shoulder blades. And in some ways, I went through a shoulder injury last year, so I really couldn't access this at all. And I had to do this in order to get this stretch. But I found in some ways, and this is always the gift of injuries, right, that this position in some ways accessed a different kind of stretch for me than this position did. And even now, if you change, whatever position you're taking, just explore that for yourself, how the different muscles in your back engage. Like you can, if you really use your fingertips to grab your shoulder blades here, and let your finger blades feel the shoulder splits, maybe roll. Almost like you're massaging behind your shoulder blades with your fingertips, which is pretty cool, right? You can't really do that in eagle, but it's a different feeling. But if you want to, take eagle arms or take the bind or holding the shoulder blades. And then we're going to raise either the elbows up, or if you want eagle, raise the elbows up and then curling in. And we will draw the elbows in now into the belly. And again, curling up. And then drawing in. And then we'll release that, bringing the arms wide. And this time we'll bring the right arm under the left. And everybody, let's just grab our shoulder blades for a moment first, just to feel the difference. And actually, just get a moment to use your fingertips to really give your shoulder blades a little bit of a massage. It's amazing, right? We should all spend more time massaging our own shoulder blades. If you want to take eagle arms, lifting the elbows or lifting the elbows simply, and then curling in. Lifting the elbows and curling in. And we'll sit here on our knees and place our left fingertips down, reaching the right arm up and over. And then to the other side, up and over. We'll take a simple a simple lunge sequence just on the right and left. I want to work towards camel today, just a heart opening pose, which is why I'm having us engage this sort of extension flexion in this position. But it'd be good to get a little bit of movement in before we go straight there. We're always a little bit time challenged here, and my focus is so upon our heart awareness and heart activation that I feel very like it's important to make time for that. So we'll bring our right foot between our hands. Let's find just a runner's lunge here for a moment, just to set ourselves up with the lunge, just allowing that active engagement of the back leg and letting the heart center come forward. Really feeling the right hip, the front hip drawing back in space and evening out your hips as you are in this lunge. And then letting that back knee drop, in my case, the left knee, leaning a little bit into the hips, reaching the arms overhead, and just allowing yourself to feel your hips go toward the ground as your arms reach up. Your front foot is pressing in, your back shin is pressing in. And then we'll come down to the ground, framing the front foot with your hands, extending that front leg into a half split. Really just gentle half split here. Rolling on the heel, maybe finding an extension with the chest, straightening the spine on an inhale and exhale over that front leg. And then we'll bend into the leg walk that front foot out so the shin comes down and it's at a diagonal to the side of the mat. And then you may want to put some blankets under your hips, and we're just going to press up into a pigeon. You can look over your shoulder, checking that your back leg is straight. Just feel the pigeon here. Well, it's going to be a very brief pigeon, so we just come down very briefly and feel the hip stretch here. And then pressing back up. And just roll onto your hip, and your legs can come out to a straddle. Maybe feel the straddle lifting up to the ceiling, extending the arms up and reaching to the right, reaching to the left, sorry, and then reaching to the right. And we'll come into pigeon on the right side. So your right shin just diagonally away from the right side of the mat, pressing that back leg, left leg in. I know I just completely flipped my right left again. It's difficult with Zoom because, anyway, pressing into your hands, reaching the heart center up, and allowing again yourself just folding over briefly into a brief pigeon, giving yourself some hip stretch here. We're not going to stay here that long today. This is another great pose as we move through the energies of tumult, disruption, lots of things going on and happening. You can press yourself up again to find the quiet internal space. And so we'll bring ourselves from pigeon into a runner's lunge. Let's just find that runner's lunge on this side. Pressing into that front foot, really activating the back foot. And then we'll let the knee drop, let the hips drop. You can untuck the toes. Just finding that stretch at the front of your hips and then pressing into your front foot here. Reaching into the back leg as you reach to the ceiling into a low lunge. And then bringing the hands to frame that front foot. We're just going to rock back onto the ball of the foot, giving a little bit of movement and flexion, bending to the leg. Inhaling, reaching the spine, the chest. Exhaling, folding over the leg. Again, inhaling, reaching the spine and chest. Exhaling, falling over the leg. You can rebend into that front knee and then walk your hands around, and then we'll come back to kneeling. So we're going to take the camel pose. And the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to face sideways because it'll be easier to see what I'm doing if I face sideways. But the first thing we're going to do, we'll take our thumbs into our armpits and let the thumbs lift the armpit chest area. And it really helps us access the part of the sort of the directional feel that we want to feel in the front body when we're taking camel. So you can come up. So you're not sitting on your heels, and you can actually, if you want, you can tuck your toes. And you're going to just, again, take your thumbs, putting them into your armpits. Like you've got little chicken wings here, but let the wings be still. And then really using the direction of the thumbs, bring the thumbs up like you're pulling the chest up to the ceiling, and just let the neck be long here. Don't let the neck drop back yet. Just let yourself feel this sort of length along the front body as you're lifting the chest with your thumbs. And then we're going to come down, untucking the toes, sitting onto our back, into our heels. My teacher, Jason Gillenwater, used to always say, placing the non-dominant the dominant hand and the non-dominant hand here, which I think is great. It's wonderful as you develop your yoga practice over the years, how different teachers come into different part of your practices. You always hear different voices with different poses. So we're going to come back onto our knees. And so there you can have a couple options here. If going back into a back bend does not feel comfortable to you, I suggest that you and we'll tuck our toes again, especially if it's uncomfortable. You take your right hand to your right ankle here, and then extend the left arm forward, and then reach it up. So you've got sort of like a one side camel, and that allows you to access that front body. Again, really feeling the straight line of energy up from the shins, from the knees, through the front body as you extend that arm behind. Let's just all do it from side to side to begin with. So, and then we'll take the left hand to the left heel, reaching the right arm forward, up and behind. Very gentle camel. Now you can either choose to stay going side to side, or if you want to take a fuller pose, you're going to bring your hands to your back, to the lower back, so that your fingers are pointing up and supporting, and you're going to kind of draw the elbows in. And again, imagine your thumbs are still placed in your armpits as you draw the chest up, really trying to keep the front of the body straight. And then you can begin to let your head drop back if that is comfortable for you. If it is not comfortable for you, do not let your head drop back. Keep it in a place of support. Always support what is correct for your body. And we'll come up. You can either continue to take the one arm variation, the variation where you're just lifting the chest, the variation where your thumbs are in the chest, or if you want to bring the hands to the heels, or even untuck the toes and bring the hands to the heels, we'll do that now. So we start with the lift, because you really want to feel that lift first, and then bringing the hands down. And there is often a little bit of a leaning back here, but you really want to re-engage the front body. So you're really pushing through the front body, keeping it as straight as you can, not leaning back, but straight. Oops. Really allowing yourself to be in this heart-opening position. And as you're ready, we'll come out and sit on our heels, placing the dominant hand in the non-dominant hand. Just allowing the body to register the movement. Breathing into the belly. And then we'll take one more. So coming back up onto the knees. There are a number of options here. Taking the option that is correct for you. Again, the first thing you're doing is we're finding the lift, and the fingers pushing up and backwards into the back allows us to really, again, remember and then imagine those thumbs are really lifting the chest. And then finding your version of the back bend. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing here. Slowing the breath down. And coming out of the pose when you're ready. We're gonna come back to all fours. Open up the knees. Place the hips back on the ground and let the forehead rest. Finding a child's pose here just to release after the camel. And then from child's pose, we're going to come up to all fours, and you're going to keep continuing forward so that you're lying fully on the mat. Hands pressing into the mat here in a sphinx. Let your hips rock side to side. And we'll reach left arm out, rolling onto the left side of the body. Giving ourselves just a little shoulder stretch. You can play with leg position, whatever feels right. I don't actually think doing a lot with the legs really affects this, unless you're, well, I don't know. But the thing is, we're really trying to stretch the front of the shoulder. So it's more about pressing into the right hand and coming onto the left side of the body. And then we'll roll and reaching out the right arm, rolling onto the right side of the body. And coming back to center. And letting the forehead rest. Pressing into our hands. Coming up. And we'll come back to a straddle briefly so that we can do a forward fold in a straddle position. Bringing the legs out wide. It's a really good place to have a block. So we're going to just come forward and rest in this position today. So letting the forehead rest on a block when your arms are beneath you allows the whole nervous system to relax. So you're not struggling with flexibility, not struggling with accessing the pose. You're simply in it and allowing the body to relax in it. So find the position of support best for you. And if that's 2 blocks here, I mean, if this is your pose and you want to have another support here, just like this. Make sure it feels stable for you though. These are a little bit unstable when it's like this, but anything that feels good. I mean, it could be that just allowing yourself to forward fold, and if this is it, let that be a position where you surrender to the wisdom of your body. So letting ourselves come forward, ideally with support underneath our forehead, whether that's the floor, a block. A bolster can feel really good here too. Having a bolster perpendicular to the pelvis, and then letting the torso drape along the bolster can feel very comforting. And just imagine there's a stream of clear, bright liquid in a vortex pouring from your third eye deep into the earth. And upon that vortex of bright, clear liquid, all the disruption, all the chaos, all the noise, beautifully draining away, draining far away, deep into the earth below you. Let your heart have a relationship with the release. Feel the expansion of the heart energy as the mental energy quiets. There is more space to feel. There is more space to understand the wisdom of your feeling. And then we'll press into our hands. Let's press the heart center forward. And then walk with your hands in. You can bring your hands underneath your knees just to bring them toward each other. We'll roll to our back, curling the knees in, and you might just take a few hip circles to the left and a few hip circles to the right. And then let the knees drop to the right, reaching out the left arm. And just letting the gaze gently go along the arm. We'll reach out both arms into a T and using our abdominals, bringing the knees up to center and over to the left. Gaze can extend out over the right arm. Feeling the space in your body. Feeling your expansion of heart space. Bringing your knees back up. Curling in. And extending both legs on the mat. Allowing the feet to fall open. Letting the pelvis and lower back release and melt into the mat. Palms are open, facing up. Allow yourself to release and let go. Beginning to feel some movement consciousness waking in the body. A little bit of gentle movement, ankles, shoulders, toes. And let that build as you slowly make your way to one side. And as you find yourself in a fetal position on one side, you're going to keep the eyes soft, closed, and make your way to a comfortable seat. And just find your seat. Feel the length of the spine. The tip of your tailbone is rooted to this planet, deep into the earth below you. And your spine growing from the tip of your tailbone like a stem of a flower. And your shoulders are dropping. And you may slightly point the chin down towards the chest. If it feels reverent to you, you can bring your hands to a position that honors your practice in a way that feels aligned with your energy this morning. Feeling the heart center. You feel the expansion of life force energy circulating throughout yourself, moving through the heart, moving through the nervous system. Breathing into that. Let's take an inhale and sigh out, exhale, inhaling together. And we will inhale to own, inhale. Thank you for sharing this practice with me today. May you have a beautiful beam of light. May beams of light be shining from you to all around you. And just be mindful of the energies that are around and use your energy with intention, awareness, and love to create the reality that you want to see in the world. You are absolutely, exquisitely unique. There's no one like you. Thank you for walking this path together with me. We'll see you soon, everyone. Take care.